Hey, real quick, sorry to interrupt. We'll get to the episode real quick. But don't forget, we are collecting your recordings and your emails and all of your fantastic comments for our Pride collaboration episode. They're due by June 19th. All you gotta do is record yourself, write something if you're feeling up to it, send us something to our email, cosplayStitchandSeam@gmail.com. Okay, you got it? June 19th. Something nice to celebrate everybody during Pride Month. Awesome. Thanks. Bye!
Hi guys, welcome to Cosplay Stitch and Seam. I'm Pannon.
And I'm B-Fire.
And I'm David.
Yay! We're excited to have y'all listening this week. As always, we appreciate your support, your emails. People have been posting on our website and all kinds of fun stuff. So we love hearing from you guys. If you ever want to send us a message, we are cosplayStitchandSeam@gmail.com or
you can go to the website, cosplayStitchandSeam.com. I almost forgot what that last part was.
dot.
It's a dot. Com. And you can fill out the doobly form there, the contact form. There we go. I can words good today.
And if you want to join us and do words as well on the Facebooks, you can always join our Facebook. Just search Cosplay Stitch and Seam. You can join our page and our group. Make sure to join the group for our Work in Progress Wednesdays, where you can see everyone's fantastic work while we're all just trying to get through this weird times and still craft to our heart's content.
Yes, we love your positivity and creativity while we're all struggling to get through. So thank you guys so much for making the group a welcome and fun and happy place. So, yeah.
Oh, I was going to say, we even had a post recently where someone is competing on live on Twitch, like with their the Ultimate Online Cosplay Championship. There we go.
Yeah.
Freaking awesome. Like, oh my gosh, congrats to Tara. That's who posted it. So congrats to Tara.
Yeah, been following her progress
over, but I hope
for the last I
hope Tara wins.
Yeah, they've been posting their progress on the Work in Progress Wednesdays, so you can see a lot of the making of there. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. If you guys would like to support us, we have a link on our Ko-fi. That's Ko-fi. It goes to help pay for our broadcasting costs, website, and all that maintenance. And that's Cosplay Stitch. So we appreciate anything you guys can spare. I know it's really tough times right now. Or you can leave us a review.
You can leave us. You can leave a review on. This is like one of the few things that I have, Mercedes.
I'm so sorry, David. You do it.
You can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Podchaser, all these other places. You can leave one like Anonymous did on Podchaser. They left us 5 stars saying, always love hearing positivity about cosplay community and what I can do to build up the same feeling for everyone. So thank you, Anonymous.
Yay!
Thank you, Anonymous.
Well, without further ado, we have a guest again for this episode. We are talking about, because we've brought it up several times in the past episodes, we're talking about convention ribbons. And this week we have special guest Rennagade Cosplay. Do you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Oh, hi. Hi. So I'm Renna. I've been around before, cosplaying for just over 7 years now. And been doing ribbons for about half that, and brought ribbons to our local con, and am obsessed with them.
Yay!
And
Well, aside from ribbons, where can we find you to see your works online?
Oh yeah, I'm primarily active on Instagram now, and my Instagram is @Rennagade Cosplay. Renna is spelled like Jenna, but with an R. And then I am also on Facebook as Renegade Cosplay, with the Renna part of Renegade spelled like my name, and Twitter, but I really only post about D&D on Twitter, so...
If you like D&D, follow her Twitter for sure.
If you like D&D, Twitter's the place to be.
Yes.
Oh.
Do you also want to plug your D&D related items?
Yes, do it.
Oh, sure. I also make dice and stuff.
and stuff.
And
where can we find that?
So that one is called Firebolt Dice. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter all under the same name, at Firebolt Dice, no punctuation.
Yay!
Yeah.
Cool.
And one of the things that makes me a little unique is I make a lot of fandom dice.
Yay!
So.
Yay! What have some of your recent projects been?
Well, I have the Sailor Moon set, and I've also been working on some Pokemon dice, and I have Yu-Gi-Oh dice, and Fire Emblem dice, and Elder Scrolls dice.
Ooh, you should do Avatar dice.
I've thought about Avatar dice. I haven't been entirely sure. I feel like I definitely should now that it's on Netflix and everyone's freaking out
There's
about
the resurgence, yeah.
You know, it's back! So yeah, I'll probably look at Avatar dice coming up.
Yay! Well, thank you for joining us.
Oh, and Zelda dice. That one. That's my most popular one. I should mention that one.
Yay, Zelda dice.
Anyway.
So who wants to start by talking a little bit about what the ribbon thing is? When we are endlessly going on about, I love ribbons! What is it? Anyone?
I could start with, my introduction to it.
Yeah.
Do it.
All right. I go to Anime Los Angeles. I show up there, and I heard about, this ribbon thing. And I'm like, cool, that's interesting. And then I'm suddenly just, overwhelmed by how many people are, dealing these, drug candy to each other. All over the place, just handing out ribbons, doing
It
challenges.
does look like a shady business deal going down sometimes.
It's great. And just
pulling out Ziploc baggies and just
don't tell anyone I'm giving you this. I don't have very many.
exactly.
It's true. It happens.
Exact words from Renna. And just super cool and crazy looking when you first look at it. But let's have more intelligent talk on it now than just my, oh my god, what is going on here?
So what the convention ribbons are is it's an extension of your convention badge that you have for the weekend. So this is not at all conventions, but a lot of them have begun this tradition. I've been seeing it more and more, and it's always fun. People will order these ribbons, and they are maybe 3.5 by 2 inches, and they just have a little sticky on the back, and you stick it to the back of your badge, and then you can stick another one to the back of that ribbon and another one to the back of that ribbon.
They've
and
been
you just
done at conventions for years and years and years, but typically they're very boring. Typically they say something like panelist or first time attendee or something, and the nerds swooped in and we took them.
So I've had a lot of conventions that have seen the ribbons at other cons and been like, yes, we actually want that for masquerade participants or panelists, or so we can know different designations, so we don't have to print a brand new badge for every different kind of designation there is. So it can be a saving money way, like Renna mentioned, but nerds took over. And Renna, why don't you tell us how you got started in this ribbon convention madness?
So, like VFire, I got started at ALA. ALA for a while was kind of known for being the convention that did ribbons. I should say the anime convention, the people in that circuit. I know that these fandom badge ribbons, I believe, started actually with Doctor Who conventions. I could be wrong on that. But ALA was kind of the place you went for ribbons. And so my first year there, I saw it all happening and was like, I love this. This is amazing. And then eventually I reached a point where I was like, I want to do this more than once a year. And so I was like, hey, Bonsai. For me, the coolest thing about ribbons is there's always something to do at a convention. One of the reasons I love signing up for contests is because it gives me a purpose. And a lot of the times at a con, I will find myself just waiting for the contest and just kind of standing around I'm just going to stand here and look pretty and hope people like my costume because I don't have anything else to do.
I
And
think you look pretty, and I like the costumes.
thanks. But ribbons always give you something to do. And so I especially like to get ribbons that either match my costume, because then when someone does come up and say, oh my gosh, I love your costume, I love that show, game, whatever, then you have a connection point. You can be like, I can give you something instead of just a thank you. Or I will do kind of the reverse, and I will make ribbons from fandoms I just like with the hope of finding cosplayers who are cosplaying that fandom so that I have a reason to approach them. Because sometimes I'm afraid to go up to someone and be like, I love your costume and think you're pretty. And it's easier for me to go, I love your costume and here's a present.
Very true. Very true. I noticed at one of the recent anime bonsais, there was a group that was going around with ribbons that just said, I like your costume.
Yep.
So it didn't have to be a specific fandom. It was just like a reason for them to go up and be like, hey, you look really neat.
Oh, yeah. And I made a ribbon that was just covered in dogs. And it was just for people who like dogs. That was it.
So let me ask you, you said that you made these ribbons. How are you making these ribbons exactly? Is it in Photoshop? Do I have to submit a design? How does that work?
So there are actually multiple avenues for different skill levels. The way that I do it is I do design my ribbon designs in Photoshop and Illustrator, because that's going to be the easiest way for a ribbon company to do it and make sure that you're going to get what you want. Because you just send them exactly what you want and they stick it on the ribbon. However, there are also some places where you can get ribbons that have a designer. So you can kind of just import images and drag them around and type in text. I think Ribbons Galore is the only one that does that. But there are some other ribbon places who will work with you. You will say, like, I want this text and this image, and their artists will put it together. That just sometimes takes longer, and I think can cost more depending on where you're at.
Sure. Okay.
Very cool. What's your fave place?
My favorite place is Marco Promos, Marco Promotional Products, because they have the best customer service. And since I typically am placing orders that are thousands and thousands and thousands of ribbons, I really need good customer service.
Nice. So you've started doing, like you mentioned, once isn't enough. You're doing this several times a year.
Yes.
And I've noticed that you got really involved and started organizing groups where you'll do like bulk orders or like promote it at a convention you'll be going to. And what made you decide to take on such a big project?
Well, I have control issues. And I like organizing big things like that, especially when it's something that I also enjoy. Like it's not extra work for me because it's fun. I love designing ribbons and ordering ribbons. And so doing it for 100 people is just 100 times the fun. It's also 100 times the work, which can get a little much, but it's worth it. So yeah, I just, especially I thought that in the case of Bonsai, we could really use it because Bonsai is a smaller convention. And there is a lot of just stand around socializing that happens at Bonsai. If you wander out to that outdoor courtyard at any given time at Bonsai, there are people just standing around talking in costume. And so I thought it would be a good place to bring them there because somewhere like Anime Expo, there's so much happening all the time that you don't necessarily need ribbons. I have brought ribbons to Anime Expo, and I think I gave out like 4 because everyone's so busy. But at Bonsai, where there is a lot of downtime, it's really nice to have.
Nice.
I feel like I danced around your question there. I don't remember what it was.
You're okay. It was basically, why did you choose to like take on such a big project with spearheading it for Bonsai and other cons that you go to? Because I know you've done like tutorial videos and you've started like Facebook communities and things like that. So
we actually do have there's this whole group chat now that is just called like Anime Convention Ribbon Coordinators. That was,
nice.
Was really weird because I wasn't part of that chat, but it was made because of me. Like I can't remember it exactly, but I believe it was someone who used to live in Utah, moved out, but saw the ribbons happening at Bonsai and was like, I want to take this with me. So she started this whole thing, and she's really spread it along the middle of the country. And finally she was like, would you be okay if we added you to this chat? And I was like, okay, bunch of people I don't know who are now coordinating ribbons at cons all over the country.
Yay!
Hello, new friends.
That is awesome.
And some of them have like taken the stripper squad ribbons to their conventions too, and so it's been really cool.
Okay. What are the? Please explain stripper squad.
Yeah, some of them.
But I also love it.
Well, some of them haven't been able to take the stripper squad ribbons to their conventions because their conventions have not allowed it. But essentially, these ribbons at the top, they have little paper strips that cover the adhesive. And after the first year of Bonsai, we had a real problem with litter. People would take off their strips and just kind of let them float away in the breeze, and they were all over like paper potpourri.
It was kind of bad.
So it wasn't great. There were some issues that Bonsai was like, we don't know if we're going to let you come back, mainly because of traffic jams and all the little strips everywhere. So what I did is I invented the stripper squad, which is whatever. It was a group of people who all had a certain type of ribbon. The ribbons, I believe, say amateur stripper, journeyman stripper, apprentice stripper, and then master stripper. And to make the meaning a little more clear, it actually had images of the little paper strips on the ribbons.
Oh, good.
And the idea was that you would turn in those paper strips to earn a ribbon. So it would encourage people to, A, not toss their own strips on the ground, and B, if you see one on the ground, pick it up, because you can get a ribbon for it. And it's been working pretty well.
That's cool. That's awesome. I love that you turned it into yet another ribbon idea.
That's what you gotta do.
So speaking of like various ribbon ideas, like how do you come up with them? Do you do like a new one for every convention? Do you do one for every cosplay? Like, or do you just like when the idea strikes, you do it?
Yep, all of those things. I have to actually rein myself in because I've reached a point where I have like 20 different designs, because I don't usually get rid of all of them after a convention, but then I want more and more, and then I end up with like 5 of 20 designs, and that's when I have to do things like, don't tell anyone I'm giving you this, because there's only 3.
It's easy to get like design crazy. Like,
yeah, like I said, I've made them that just have dogs. I it's hard because I've also learned that I really shouldn't make a ribbon that is specific to my competition costume, because typically that day I'm not out and about enough to get rid of them.
Yeah.
So and it can be hard if you have like 5 ribbon designs or more, and you get mobbed in the hallway. You could never leave. I've gotten stuck in the same place for several hours before.
Oh man!
Because people were just like, "What else can I get? What else can I get? What else can I get?" So now, regardless of how many I have, I try to only have 1 or 2 that people can earn a day.
Okay.
Because it can get to be a lot, but you totally can just have 1 for the whole convention. and that'll work. But yeah, it's just whatever you want to stick on a ribbon, you do it. I saw someone at ALA who had a ribbon that said ASMR is not porn.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, that has nothing to do with a fandom at all. But okay, I agree.
I just got inspired. I need to make a ribbon that says, "Sorry, David."
Oh my god.
Oh, wait, what just happened?
I was just saying I was inspired for a ribbon where saying "Sorry, David" because that is the standard. Can you edit that out, please?
Yep. Nice. So with yours, you mentioned that you give them away like for like say someone that knows what your costume is from, or that there's a costume you recognize. What have been like some of the other things that you've experienced or had people do for ribbons, I guess?
Trivia is a really common one. Or completing some kind of challenge. Like there was a ribbon at Bonsai a couple years ago that had a wolf character on it and you had to howl in order to earn it. My favorite one that I've ever done, and I've done different variations of it, is where people have to tell me a joke.
Oh.
And that I've gotten some good jokes from that. My favorite one was probably from a kid. And it said, "Why don't you ever see hippos hiding in trees?"
Why?
Because they're so good at it.
Oh my god.
I came from a child and I was like,
nice.
That's one of my favorite jokes now.
Here, have 10 of them.
Very good. Very good.
Or you can just like make them rain. There are sub ribbons that I just pass out like crazy. I'm like, take one, take one, take one. Don't know what it is. Don't care. Take one.
Very good. Very good. One of my favorites has been, I did, back when they used to do it, I did the Pokemon game at Anime Los Angeles. And what they do is like you find a professor at the beginning of the weekend and they would give you a starter Pokemon. And then you had to go around the convention throughout the weekend and find people wearing the little Pokemon gym badge. It would usually say like Pokemon trainer or something like that was specific to the year. And you could ask them what type they had. And if they had a type that was weak to your starter or whatever Pokemon you were carrying, they would give you their ribbon. Or they would make you do like an activity or something to get the ribbon. Like I did, I was Raichu one year and, so it was Lieutenant Surge's gym. So if they stopped and like gave me 10 push-ups, I would give them the ribbon.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So that one's really fun. And it kind of like kept people busy all weekend. And it also gave us like, as a group of cosplayers who were all wanting to cosplay Pokemon anyway, a reason to do so.
Yeah. I love the Pokemon game.
So, Mercedes, you've been a little quiet. What are some of your favorite ribbon stories?
I liked singing the Pokemon theme song. That one's always fun. Because, everybody likes belting that one out. Let's see. It's been a while since I've done that. I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
I liked the one that Rena, Sadie and I did as a group. So we were dressed as Sayaka, Kyoko, and Octavia from Madoka Magica. And so we had a special ribbon that Rena had very artfully designed that was super cool. And
I stole the art from the internet.
Yeah.
Put it together.
You put it together, you arranged it.
I did. I had to convert it into vector form.
There you go.
And what we had to do was, when people saw us, I gotta remember, this has been a while. We had to ask them what kind of wish they would give, to become a magical girl. So it was a selfish wish or an unselfish one. And if they picked a selfish wish, they had to come find Kyoko and get the ribbon from her. And I can't remember, Rena, did they have to say what their wish was going to be to you, or?
I have no memory of this place.
Oh,
Oh no.
I
It's been too long.
remember the ribbon. I have no memory of how they got it.
oh.
Oh.
Okay, I think they had to tell you what they were going to wish for, but it had to be a selfish wish. And then if they picked a selfless wish, so they made a wish for somebody else, they had to find me as Sayaka and tell me what they would wish for, and I'd give them my ribbon. And oh my gosh,
Nice.
I got so many like heartfelt stories.
Oh no.
People, like, some people were like, "Oh, I'd wish this for that I'd have one more day with my grandma," or like,
Oh, I would cry.
Oof. I'm glad
was
I was
like-
the selfish one.
to like, wanting to help, a family member who was sick and like all these different things. And I was just like, this was more than I bargained for. But like, it was really cool and it was so sweet. Like, I loved every minute of it. And then, Sadie essentially did the same thing because she was just hanging out with me in Octavia and couldn't really be without anybody else in Octavia because her, the
Is
helmet.
she blind?
Because she blind, yes. She couldn't even, well, she could kind of wear her glasses inside of that, but still.
Oh man. Oh man. Oh, one of my favorites was actually this most recent Anime Los Angeles. My friend Tia did a bunch of, and I'm not even in this fandom, but it was a Critical Role ribbon that said, "Don't forget to love each other."
Yes, we did a bunch
And-
of those. I had some of those. Oh yeah, we
Yeah.
all had some of those. Yeah.
And like, I didn't actually know what it was from, but I really loved the sentiment of it. And it was a ribbon that like you didn't really know anybody had, but when you saw someone doing like an act of service or something kind for someone else, you could give them the ribbon. And it was really cool to like look for that
Mhm.
throughout the weekend and recognize it. And it was, I don't know, it was really fun.
Yeah, and that was one of my like make it rain ribbons. I was not
Oh yay!
stingy with the don't forget to love each other ribbon.
Good,
Sadie-
good.
Sadie has one kind of similar to that where it's a cosplay support ribbon. So if she sees somebody that's like holding a cosplayer's, bags while they're getting photos or helping them open doors or, someone who's helping somebody else, because she's usually my cosplay support. And so she wanted to reward others who are, being cosplay supports. And so she has a very
Yeah.
cool ribbon that she hands out at every convention.
Yay.
Yeah.
I know, like the cosplay repair room has one that they'll give out. If you come in and need a repair, they'll give you a ribbon. I know they had like a Maid Cafe, it's not Maid Cafe anymore. Sorry. It's Blue Rose Cafe. And if you visit the Blue Rose Cafe throughout the weekend, they have a ribbon, like all the different like little events and things have a ribbon just to help you remember having a good time doing that.
And people will do it for panels. Like you
Yeah.
can only earn the ribbon if you come to the panel.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, one of my favorite was from a panel because I love JoJo's, and they had like they do all these really like crappy translated names because they can't use the band names from JoJo's. So instead of like Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap, it was Filthy Acts at a Reasonable Price. And it was my favorite ribbon. It was my favorite one. That one was I think it was by Diana Devine, who does like all kinds of crazy JoJo stuff. So
That's wonderful.
yeah,
One,
it was so good.
one that I saw before I really knew like what the ribbon game was is someone who was dressed up as someone from Avatar: Last Airbender, and in order to get one, you had to give him general facts, or you had to sing the Leaves from the Vine song to him.
Oh.
And so you just had a bunch of people depressed around him all the dang time.
Oh no! Oh man!
Ouch, way to
Yeah,
kill the
yeah.
mood, David.
I know, it's what I do.
Way to kill the mood.
Oh, so we've talked a little bit about like what kinds we like and what games you can do and stuff like that. I have a question for you guys, which is, what do you do with them after the con?
Oh no.
Mine are all in a bag.
Oh, the ones that we earned or the ones that are left over?
Yeah, yeah, no, the ones you earned.
Oh, okay, that's an okay question.
What do you do with your what do you do with your collection?
I I actually don't stick mine together at the con for a number of reasons. One, the glue on these is not meant to hold more than like 3. And so you can often lose your ribbons if you have them all connected during the con because the glue will come off.
Oh, yeah.
And they also can just kind of get in the way. It can be hard to have a con badge that's 10 feet long.
Yes.
And I like to, after the convention is over, I like to organize them by like fandom or type of media. But then I stick them all together and I stitch down the sides so that they don't fall apart. And then I hang them on my wall.
Oh, smart. Okay. That's a good idea.
Nice.
I usually have, like, I'll bring duct tape to the convention, and I like getting, like, different colors and styles and designs on my duct tape that match whatever for the weekend. And then I just the duct tape on the back so it holds them.
It does.
I do like seeing the people who have like collected, almost 100, and they've got like this Naruto ninja scroll rolled up of ribbons, all black taped together.
Yeah.
Unlike Brenna, all of mine are sitting on my bonsai badge, and they sit in my closet with all like where I hang all my XLR cables. So anytime that I need to like pick up a cable or something, I open it up and then I see all of the ones that I've earned.
Oh, that's cool.
Awesome.
That's cool.
Mine are all in a bag right now, but I eventually want to either make like a cute skirt out of them or like a blanket.
I have seen
thing.
people make clothes out of them.
Yeah.
Oh, I should make a bag out of them.
Yeah, you should.
Oh, man.
Okay.
Anyway.
Maybe I want that.
Craft projects with these ribbons. I was going to mention while you were talking about how they get really long trains, if you get like a pair of bulldog clips and stick them on either side, it helps quite a bit. It does weigh down a lot if you do stick your ribbons throughout the weekend, though.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But one of my saddest, it's not a horror story, but it was very sad, it was at Anime Los Angeles back when it was at the old hotel, and there was a pool in the middle of the con that people would do photo shoots with throughout the weekend. And I was helping a friend with a shoot, and I hadn't rolled mine up and clipped it, and it dipped into the end of the pool, and anything that gets wet, the adhesive just immediately stops sticking.
Yeah.
So I just ended up dropping a whole lot of ribbons into the pool and was very sad.
I would be the sad.
I recovered most of them.
Oh, good.
But there was no sticking them back on. They had to be sewed on.
That's so
Poor
sad.
thing.
So sad.
So sad.
This next song is called We Hate You, Please Die.
Oh my god. Thank you.
Sorry.
I once had to do a dance that I didn't know, and so got taught by Garnet from Brainwork, Steven Universe, there we go, how to do a certain dance, and so we were all dancing together in the hallway, and that's how I earned a ribbon. It was really cool.
Nice. So Renna, what advice do you have for people who are maybe like looking to get started or want to try ribbons?
She has love.
Like, are there groups they can search out to like kind of get the basic info, or?
I'm sorry.
Sorry, I put you on the spot here.
No, it's just I don't think you realize how many-faceted your question was.
I see.
What kind of person? Like, the person who wants to start bringing ribbons to their convention like I did at Bonsai, or the person who's going to a convention
just a person
that has
solo.
ribbons?
Just a person solo who wants to bring convention or ribbons at a convention that maybe already has them.
Okay, because I will say, if you bring ribbons to a convention that doesn't usually have them, people are heckin' confused.
Yes,
They have no idea why you're handing them a thing. I've handed people a ribbon before at like Katsucon, and they looked at me and they said, "What do I do with this?"
Oh no!
And I was like, whatever your heart desires. It just has a Charizard on it. And you are dressed as a Pokemon. So most conventions that have a large ribbon presence do have a page for it somewhere. I would highly recommend getting in on a group order, because ribbons decrease in price the more you get. And a lot of places, it doesn't have to be a lot of the same design. You just have to get a lot of ribbons. So if you have 10 people all getting 100 ribbons, then you'll get the price for as if you had ordered 1,000 ribbons, which is going to be cheaper than if you just order on your own. So definitely try to get people together on a group order if there isn't one already organized, because it's going to help a lot.
Smart.
Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to think of just like silly ribbons have just been like part of my convention experience for so long. I'm like, how do I even like I don't know if I even remember the first ribbon I got.
I know.
You know?
I'm always afraid, because there have been times where people have asked me, like, tell me about ribbons, and I'll talk for 10 minutes, and then when I'm done, they'll be like, okay, but what are they? And I'm like, oh, did I never actually address what they were? Not bad.
What would you say, like, what con have you got the longest ribbon chain ever at?
Oh, definitely ALA.
Yeah.
There's no question there.
Yeah, that one's easy.
What was your record?
I'm a quality over quantity kind of collector. So I don't aim to catch them all. I will turn down a ribbon. And I do wish, so, I mean, I could talk for a really long time about ribbon etiquette and the pitfalls of ribboning. But that's kind of a downer. But for me, like, if someone doesn't want my ribbon, I'd rather they didn't take it. That's not rude to turn down a ribbon. Because, you know, I did pay for it. It came out of my own pocket, and if you're not gonna like it, I'll hold on to it. And so that's kind of my mentality. If someone's like, sorry, Pannon, if someone's giving out a JoJo ribbon, I tend to turn those down.
Oh, that's okay.
Everything I know about JoJo's I learned from you. Which is
that's fair.
Not a lot. I know things.
Not a lot.
I know things like Steel Ball Run. I don't know what that means, but I know that phrase. And stand. and it's me, Dio. And there we go.
Yes.
I've said all the things I know. And so I'll turn down a JoJo ribbon because it's not something I'm going to look back on and have a fond memory of. So I don't go for getting as many as I can. I go for getting as many as I want.
Okay, that's a good mindset.
That's a great mindset to have.
You did mention ribbon etiquette, and I know you said it's a downer, but what are some tips for like a first timer? Like, how should you approach someone who might have a ribbon? How do you ask about ribbons?
Okay. To approach someone, typically whoever has a ridiculous amount of ribbons probably has them to give out, because ribbons attract ribbons, especially because people will often trade ribbons to earn them. I know at Bonsai we've started a tradition of pinning our ribbons that we're giving out to our lanyard so people can tell who has them to give out. And I think one of the biggest things to understand with ribboning is the person with ribbons is under no obligation to give it to you. If they do a trivia question and you don't know the answer, please respect that and don't expect to get the ribbon. Or if they say it's only for people who are wearing this costume or something. I've had a lot of people get really upset and offended when I wouldn't give them a ribbon. And I think some of those people assume that it's like an official con thing. And it's not. It is individual people who spent their own money on these. And even when you're in a group order, it's still about $35 for 100. So it's still like you're handing out a quarter and a dime every time you hand out one of these ribbons.
Right. Is there like specific places or like panels or events and things where people go like expecting to hand out ribbons?
There can be. I know at Bonsai every year that we've done ribbons, I've hosted a ribbon panel where people can come, and the first half of the panel is Q&A, and the second half is just for trading. And I know we talked about this year actually doing like ribbon meetups, kind of like they do cosplay meetups out in the courtyard, where we would say from like 1 to 1:30, it's just for trading. So only come if you have ribbons to trade. And then from 1:30 to 2, it's for earning. So at that point, if you don't have ribbons, you can come and earn them. Who knows what's happening with conventions this year, but that was an idea.
No, I like the idea of knowing what to expect, because I'm one of those like awkward turtles who kind of like sees someone giving out ribbons, but I'm like, but how do I ask? How do I get your ribbon?
Yeah, and that's part of why we started the policy of pinning your ribbons to your lanyard, because we also tried to train people of, if their ribbons are not on their lanyard, they are not giving them out right now. So leave them alone. But if they're on their lanyard, that means they are prepared to be approached.
Nice. Okay.
Can I state an annoyance? And this could just entirely be me.
It probably is, but go ahead.
Fair enough. I saw, I think it was like 2 years ago, at Bonsai, they were doing a Harry Potter house ribbons.
Yes!
You know, Ravenclaw, Hufflepuff, Slytherin, and that other one. And
good job. Well done.
Thank you. It was fun because like you would go up and like, hey, I'm House Slytherin. Where do I go? Oh, you need to find this person. They're dressed like this. Giving you more opportunity to speak to new people and engage and whatnot. And then there were some people who were like, okay, well, I have a Slytherin one. Can I also get a Ravenclaw one? And like, well, no, if you've already got one, you don't get the other one. And it was kind of annoying when someone's like, oh, well, I just told them I didn't have it and they gave it to me anyways. I was a little annoyed because I was like, that's kind of like cheating the game. And I get it. Like everyone's got that like collector brain every now and again of like, I gotta get them all. But at the same time, like there's a reason that Pokemon Red and Pokemon Blue didn't have all 150 Pokemon. Like it was built for collaboration.
And they wanted you to buy both games. But no, because I was the Slytherin representative for that game, and that was supposed to be the fun of it, was that you had to pick one. And that was also how you were able to recognize who was handing them out. We had little badges, but also we were the only people who had all four.
I was that other one.
And so, yeah, that was kind of rough when people wouldn't follow the rules on that.
I was the Gryffindor representative, and because so few people would come and get ribbons from me, I gave it to anybody who was like, sure, I'll be Gryffindor.
Mercedes, you are the most Gryffindor.
You are the most Gryffindor.
So many of those. I still have so many of the Gryffindor ribbons.
Yeah, I did not have a problem getting rid of Slytherin ribbons.
Represent.
Oh, man. Yep.
Also, I feel the need to clarify for any listeners that my love language is playful teasing. I promise I don't talk like this to random strangers. So
that Renna is so mean.
Yeah,
Jeez.
When I'm bragging on David, it's because we're friends.
Yeah.
David,
good.
Yeah.
Good. I'm just gonna sit here and mute myself for a little bit.
Fine. It's fine. So let's end on a positive note. Tell me about either your favorite ribbon you ever got or the favorite one that you had to give away.
I feel like I need to go look at my ribbons.
Oh, man. Any that stand out?
You broke me.
Oh, no.
I was like, I'm wondering if you can actually pick.
Okay, how rather than favorite, how about a memorable one that you've given away and a memorable one that you have gotten?
I'm like, it's like you just Googled the word water. And so there's like 12 billion results.
Oh my goodness.
Also, Retta, why don't you just tell us your favorite child, your favorite book series, your favorite video game?
Yes.
Those might be easier.
Oh my goodness.
Analogy and like freaking half-orc character in D&D the other day. That was great. Oh, it kills me. That's a good one.
I know there are good ones.
Pick the top result. Pick the top result.
I know.
Don't
There
go
you
to page 2.
The most, but do not go to page 2. Oh, I really love ribbons. My friend did a series of ribbons. She's an artist, and she did they weren't fandom related, and she drew them herself of this cat that was an astronaut.
Aww.
And so each year the cat visited a different planet. And so there was one with the cat
Cute.
and the moon, and there was one with the cat and Mercury, and it was just cute. And I loved it because she specifically designed it to fit in that small ribbon space, and it looked really cool.
That is super cool.
Nice. That's so cute.
Aww.
There you go. I thought of one.
Yay! I did want to ask, what was the other question I had? Have you made any friends just through ribboning at different conventions?
Most of the people that I met at ALA that I'm friends with now were through ribbons. Because it just opens up conversation. If someone cares enough about a fandom to make a ribbon for it, then they're probably one of your people. There's even someone at Bonsai who I'm friends with now because for the group order, they submitted both a Digimon ribbon and a Ruby ribbon. And I was like, who is this human? I need to know them. But one of the people that I met at ALA through Fire Emblem ribbons actually ended up designing my Charizard and Zapdos Gajinkas for me. I commissioned her to design them. So that was really cool.
I remember that.
That's really fun connections.
Yeah.
Well, we like to end every episode with a horror story. I know we've got one from one of our listeners, but did you have one you want to share?
I have a fun kind of ribbon horror story.
Okay, perfect.
So one year I made, well, actually, rewind. I saw that someone was going to make a ribbon that essentially said Bulbasaur is the best Pokemon ever. And so, Mercedes, sit down.
Squirtle.
Oh, well, then this will be fun. I decided to make a ribbon that said Charizard is the best Pokemon ever. And they actually, I was unaware that there are like legit rivalry names. I thought they had made this up, but there is a term called Charizarchy. Which are the people who believe that Charizard is the supreme Pokemon. So I made a Charizarchy ribbon.
And Bulbasaur propaganda! Yeah!
Yeah. And when we were at ALA, I found the person handing out the Bulbasaur, and the two of us went up on the balcony and literally made it rain our ribbon. And we got in trouble by security.
Oh, wow.
That was going to be my next question.
Because we essentially created a mosh pit down below.
Oh, no.
And it was a problem.
Renna.
So,
whoopsie. So make sure that you hand out your ribbons responsibly.
Yes. Do not
and in the proper location.
Problems, please.
Yeah.
Those are the best.
All right. Well, we have a horror story from one of our listeners, X-Angel. Do you mind if I read it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So this one's convention tradition horror story turned happy. says, whenever I attend the local con with my dad, we park at a nearby shopping center and get dinner before heading home after a full day. We eat at a Brazilian restaurant that brings meat on swords and has excellent limeade. Oh, I love those. It's
We
so
all know
good.
what they're talking
It's
about.
2 to 4 blocks. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. It's 2 to 4 blocks away from the convention center and isn't too bad a walk most of the time. This last fall, my son in a stroller and I were dressed as Chun-Li and Akuma from Street Fighter
And it
2.
was
At the end, isn't that cute?
I saw them and it was adorable.
Oh, at the end of the con day, we set out to walk to the restaurant, and the 12% chance of rain was actually a downpour. I didn't have an umbrella, and I was in a satin kipao. I threw, fortunately, I threw my wig in the bottom of the stroller, pulled the top so my kid would stay relatively dry, and walked the 2 blocks getting drenched. Dinner was fantastic, but I wasn't completely dry by the time I got home, meaning I had to scrape together a different costume than I originally planned for the next day. But hey, my makeup lasted through the day, and the child was dry.
2 very important factors there.
Says, before this podcast, I didn't think I could do more fabulous characters, but as I tried putting together something from my closet, I stumbled upon Taco, from TV. It gave me an excuse to carry around an umbrella in case the weather decided to rain again. Hey! As Taco, I got to partake in another family tradition, getting lunch at the Greek festival, and I truly felt fabulous. Huge thanks and love to the podcast and the Facebook group for being awesome. Yay! Thank you, X
Yeah,
Angel.
thank you.
That's awesome.
Long-time listener, and we love X Angel.
Anyone ever meet her? She's like the
Cool.
sweetest person.
She's amazing.
If that's who I think it is, then yes.
Yes. Well, as always, if you guys have a story you'd like to share with us, whether it's a horror story, something wholesome, something positive and uplifting in these quarantine times, please go ahead and share that with us. It's cosplayStitchandSeam at gmail.com
Or cosplayStitchandSeam.com, and you can fill out the contact page there.
And you can go to our Facebook page where you can like us, follow us there, and make sure that you're caught up on all of our episodes, and make sure that you join our page itself so that way you can get our Work in Progress Wednesdays, ask for advice, share your cosplay progresses, and all the fun things in between.
Hooray! Renna, do you have any last thoughts or places once again we can follow you online?
Nah.
Nah. All right. Well, that's been our show. If you guys want to leave us a review, we're on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure you leave a review so we can give you a nice shout out. And we're also on Coffee at Cosplay Stitch. And remember to be nice to each other and be awesome and be the positivity we need right now. So, yeah.
Keep sharing those Work in Progress Wednesdays, and
Yeah, creativity is so valuable right now. We love all the positivity that comes
Literally
from it.
doing hand embroidery as we speak.
You too?
Yeah, man.
Nice. Thanks, guys. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.